used to wait for the rain to fall.
Welcome everybody to our podcast. Okay, we are here to discuss a journey from discovery to recovery. Okay, so we'll start off with Miss Selina. So you are a cervical cancer survivor.
Yes, that's
and you are into your fourth year of remission.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so maybe you can tell us your journey of when you were first diagnosed with cervical cancer. How did it all start, and did you feel all alone when you first heard of this diagnosis?
I got diagnosed, actually I got misdiagnosed by three doctors. And when I finally did the biopsy and it was established that it was cervical cancer, I think the first reaction was sadness. I think the tears just came. You didn't know what to do. The aloneness didn't come yet until I was undergoing treatment because it was COVID.
I see.
So I had to be in the hospital isolated from everyone. I couldn't have any visitors. So I feel that what I want to do right now is create that kind of support to those who have been going through it or are going through it right now. I think it's a constant fear. I believe my good friend over here, Chef Wan, will tell you.
Don't let me open my mouth, okay? Because don't get a chance.
It's true. Right now, because as a survivor, every little pain that you have, every little change to your body, you wonder, is it back?
I'm just curious, like, were there symptoms before that, and what are they? Because as men, we don't understand, that part of cervical cancer.
What a good question! What a great question! Because very, very good question. Because my oncologist, Prof. Rosita from PPUM, did acknowledge. Usually for cervical cancer, there would be bleeding. There would be bleeding, unusual bleeding. But for me, bleeding wasn't the issue. I had trouble with my urination, so I thought it was UTI. That's why it was misdiagnosed as UTI, bladder
UTI
infection.
is also known as the urinary tract infection,
Correct,
where you have pain when you urine and things like that. So it had nothing to do with no symptoms of
symptoms. So hence, it's
cancer.
very important for you to get your health check, particularly screening regularly. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And Chef, you are also a cancer survivor.
Yes.
Maybe you can share your journey with us.
For me, I've been very lucky because 2.5 years ago, I would say now, since my last chemo ended, I've been a cancer survivor for lymphoma Burkitt cancer. So Burkitt cancer for lymphoma is a very rare blood cancer. The most the most tough ones to handle because it is very powerful cancer, that it will grow very fast, that very aggressive among all the blood cancer. So therefore, it needed me to come in and to do this 96 hours non-stop chemo, meaning you have wire everywhere around your knee, tube through your heart and everything and all that, and going through your veins and everything. And imagine you have to go into the theater to have everything to salo right into your blood for the chemo to go in. So meaning it's almost like you can see everything penetrating into your heart. So it was painful as well, and they needed me to be hospitalized for at least in and out for about almost 6 months to finish the whole total of 6 regimen. And because it's 7 times stronger chemo than any normal chemo patient that goes in for a couple of hours and all that, so doctor said we need to have you in the hospital all the time to monitor, because your health is going to go up and down, and you're going to be like a roller coaster.
I think 2 things that I understand from your conversation. I think for the both of you, you are saying that both of you took care of your health and you took charge of your health. You went for regular screenings and medical checkups. I think that's one thing that we advocate here. It's you need to detect things early and not let it just go on and just ignore it, because sometimes ignorance is not bliss. Right?
Yes, and that's why we always say prevention is better than cure. So that's why it's very important. If you find out you find out early, not like later. Some people sakit perut pun tak nak masuk kamera, no colonoscopic and all that, and live for a few years until they start to bleed and all that, and they think it's hemorrhoid and turn out to be it is cancer already at stage 4, you know. I have some of my aunties who are dealing with that because, and then some just headache, asyik makan Panadol all the time, you know, sikit-sikit demam, pandai makan Panadol, tak boleh. So I'm the sort like, you know, sakit sikit je, that's why Glen Eagle can be very rich lah, you know, out of my money, you know, they suck me, you know, everything out of me, you know, kan. So that's why. But then I believe if you're going to find out, better sooner than later lah.
And I also think that what I can hear from your story and also from your story, Chef, is that both of you, when you were going through the journey, you had really good support with people around you, and not just that, you have a very positive mindset on your recovery. Because a lot of times when people are in this situation and when they are undergoing a tough situation in their life, like cancer, you hear the diagnosis, you get so scared and you shudder and you feel like the world is breaking down.
Of course, not easy. Because everyone deal with it differently. For example, with her, she also, you know, she was very much on her own. We didn't hear very much about that at that time. And so that's why we didn't know that, you know, she also, like she said, she broke down all that. But the doctor asked me lah. For me, I kind of like think about it like, you know, okay lah, you know, I'm already 65 at that time, 66 at that time kan. And then I said to myself, I've lived this long and I've been very blessed to have a very wonderful career and lifestyle and all that. So then I thought like, you know, if this is another challenge for me, I take it lah, you know. So I'm not like, you know, going to worry myself, like cry like her, you know. Kan. I'm like, people look at you, hey, are you serious, Chef Wan, you have cancer? People could not believe it. You know me when you met, kan. I'm like happy, I carry on going, you know. Sakit macam mana pun, nak crawl pun, I crawl lah. And all that. Because for me, I said, you never know when is your final destination. Everyone meet their final destination. So until we get there, we deal with it lah kan. But before we get there to do it, we need to stay healthy lah kan. We need to have positive mind, spirit and all that because you're going to get well. Because if you feel depressed, there's one thing about cancer, if you feel depressed, it will pull you down. It will pull you down. More, yes. But if you're going to fight, no matter how 7 times stronger your cancer, they lock you in the room like a prison cell, that's all. And nobody, not even my children, can visit me and all that. I'm like, I can be depressed, but every day I don't care. I plan my menu, order food here, order food. I order extra, go and feed all the nurses lah, the doctor. To fill the time. Kau tidak nak buat apa kan?
I think the biggest problem is the people who faces this kind of challenges, especially when they are just in denial. Because it's not everybody has the mental strength to endure everything. And they just think just brushing it down, you know, and not addressing it, going for a checkup. That's the biggest problem. I have a lot of people in my life I've seen who actually go through cancer. Some have already passed on, especially some of my relatives. They all drag time. They just didn't want to face it. That is the biggest problem. I think regular checkups are very important, especially when you pass the 35 mark and 40. I think it's very important that you go through that because mental health, of course, is important, but at the same time, acceptance and facing it is what the challenge is.
Because once you learn to accept, and then you face it, you want to face all the segala, you know, chemo is tough, you know, all that kan. So I always say that I'm a lot tougher. So meaning I have to fight, I have to survive. So the point where sometimes my mouth semua pecah lah, apa semua, all I have blisters, all this thing appearing out of my skin, you know, all this after the cancer is so powerful, the doctor have to reduce the strength because this is cannot, because you have all this out of your skin, pecah-pecah, panas semua tau. Bila mandi, kulit pecah semua.
So maybe, Selina, I think back to you, I would like you to share on what took you from that lowly point of having that cancer diagnosis to creating the latest, most powerful movement that I've seen, Teal Asia, Malaysia's first peer-to-peer cervical support network, a community-focused idea. What gave you that idea of bringing all the cancer survivors together?
Oh, because I was treated in the government hospital in PPUM. So there was no luxury of a nice ward. I had to share my toilet. Some of the toilets are broken. I had to take my drip to the next. And so, and I chose to go to government hospital because of Professor Wu. I wanted her to treat me. And because I was sharing room with so many other underserved women, I realized that if I feel that it's suffering, imagine the people who are less privileged. So they were, they cannot afford some of the medication to buy. They kept on saying that, they want to get out of hospital. They don't want to complete the treatment because they earn daily wage.
Right.
So every day they're in hospital. It's one day of income, and sometimes they are single mothers. They are the only one who bring food home. So they just cannot afford to take. Sometimes when you go for chemo, you need to stay for days in the hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
So they cannot afford to take the few days. So they rather not go for the treatment. So when I hear all this, I said, my goodness, we are so blessed, Sheffy.
I'm so glad that Selina, you got your care from the government hospitals, and Chef, you got your care from private hospitals, and both of you came up so strong. And now both of you are survivors, talking about your journey, your cancer journey, and sharing it with all of us. And I feel so blessed to be able to hear the whole journey. And thank you for your story.
Yeah, and then in the hospital also, don't forget, throughout that, how many months, almost 5.5 months, I see so many, like Selina also experienced so many cancer patients who went through worse ordeal than me. So sometimes we thought like, oh my God, ours is terrible, but then when you go into all the room and you see people with lung cancer and all that, stage 4 and all that, and some are just left Kulit, just skin, all that kan, belly, and it's like, oh my God, and then you see how hard the doctors work, the nurses, spending so much time, taking care of them, and then their family, all this, sometimes, family sometimes, can be very demanding in a private hospital, and they want this, they want that, and then some patient also tak sabar, kadang-kadang, screaming, jerit, macam mana pain pun kan, all that kan. So I see that lah, people, and then people nearing death, for example, that's another story. I can tell you later. If I tell you also, you cry and hear that. So it makes me realize lah that, that menginsapkan kita juga kan. It's like, that at the end of the day, we are not the only one that suffer. There are people worse than you. Then sometimes I go to the children places. So, when I heard a friend had anak yang ada brain cancer, I went to visit as well. So tengok budak-budak and all that.
Cancer is a scary diagnosis for anybody. Yeah, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, it is still a scary diagnosis, and everybody can take it differently. It can affect their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health, and they can, like you mentioned, they can go down the rabbit hole even without knowing it. So that's why support and good support system around there is so important. Yeah. So I'm going to put our attention back into cervical cancer awareness, and maybe share a bit of insight on what is going on with cervical cancer in the world. So basically, cervical cancer is the 4th most common female cancer in the world. And the cause of this is actually a type of virus called the human papilloma virus. There's 130 types of human papilloma virus, but the 2 most common types that gives about 75% of cancers is the subtype 16 and 18. I think that's why they have vaccinations around these 2 subtypes. Okay, HPV can be transmitted via sexual contact, via vaginal, oral, or anal sex. By skin-to-skin contact as well, via hand-to-genital contact, yeah? So I think in 2018, WHO came up with a global strategy to eliminate cervical cancer totally. And I think this is extremely powerful and viewers should know about this. The goal is by 2030, they aim to eliminate cervical cancer. And how that works is by the 90-70-90 rule. 90% of vaccination for teenage girls, 70% of screening by 2030, and 90% of treatment for women with invasive cervical cancer. So I think the goal here is we want to treat early, we want to vaccinate, and we want to screen patients early so that we can achieve this target by 2030.
The cervical is only for women.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank God.
So that's where...
But mainly men are carriers.
What's
Yes,
different
that's
between
right.
ovary and cervical?
Okay,
What's
so
different?
I
I'm
think-
sure many wants to know.
Yeah,
Apa
so-
beza dia? Ovary dengan cervical, different area.
Yeah, so I think my next question to you, Chef, because you have you have very interesting understanding before this conversation. You spoke to me about cervix, about the cervix. Do you actually know where is the cervix? May I just ask?
Bukan ke tulang pinggul? Bukan. Then I don't know lah.
Okay, I can share a little
Yeah.
bit about where the cervix is.
Yes.
So basically, the female anatomy is where the entrance is the vagina. Then there's a tunnel, the cervix,
tunnel is cervix.
and it enters to the uterus.
Uterus.
Okay, so cervix is the tunnel,
The tunnel.
in between.
Thank God we didn't have the tunnel.
Alhamdulillah. But
Alhamdulillah.
I guess women have the extra things to handle.
Yeah, because they have to put the baby, have to go in also kan. I mean the baby
that's
kan all
right,
that.
that's
So
right,
that's
that's right,
different.
that's right,
The
that's
anatomy is
right.
not the same with the men.
Okay.
But of course, men also have their own cancer lain pula.
Yeah.
Kita ada prostate pula.
Prostate cancer, yes.
Macam-macam cancer today, you know kan.
Yeah.
Dengar.
Nak celebrate pun tak boleh.
So HPV can cause cervical cancer in women. Do you think that it can cause cancers in men? Yes, it actually can. Yes,
dengar
it
tu.
can cause oropharyngeal cancers in men, and I think this is some
Oral
Throat
throat cancers in
So
men.
that predominantly
That
happens
affects.
when you have oral sex.
So,
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
So, like I mentioned, the HPV can be transmitted in any
Any
way,
form,
any form. Yeah. So that's why screening is important. Okay. But let's go back to the women.
Yes, okay, can.
I haven't finished, man.
Yes.
So meaning, if you that can create throat cancer, is it? And tongue cancer too.
Yes.
I read about it.
Yeah. Men don't have cervix, right? Yeah, because it's female anatomy, but men can be carriers. So that's why we advocate screening and also vaccination in young boys. From both sides. So hence why the vaccination is not just for females, it's also for males.
Yes.
Exactly.
These
gonna
days
be
you have all the
mandatory.
COVID
That's right.
vaccination,
Yes.
you know, all
Yeah.
kind of vaccination, and now you have
Yes.
Yes, correct.
yes.
Okay. So, but this is a critical problem that we have to understand. In our Ministry of Health 2023 guidelines, our screening uptake is only 23 to 26%. Yeah, and the goal is 70%. So we are not even halfway through that. Yeah, and during COVID, it dropped down more than 50%. So those numbers are quite scary to me as a medical doctor because prior to this conversation, honestly, I felt that the screening was much more. But looking at the numbers, it is so low. Do you have, maybe you can share a little bit about why women are scared of going for cervical screening?
Lack of awareness of how important it is. And again, the most vulnerable communities are the ones that feel, I better not know because
What I don't know does not
yeah.
affect me.
So that's one, and also a lot of them live maybe far away from places where screening. Yeah.
But I also think because you know what, when you talk about private parts, kan,
Yeah,
not,
it's a taboo.
Not especially in women, kan, not every woman are comfortable about that. Don't talk about women, even men also, kan.
yeah.
If the doctor wants to go and raba-raba you, I'm also like, you know, a bit like, you know. It's true. I'm sure many can relate to that. That's one of the factor lah kan, because kita ni ada sifat malu kan, and all that. That's normal lah, you know, and all that. So that's why. But sometimes kita kena, orang kata, put that aside. So kalau ada doktor perempuan dengan perempuan tak apalah. Macam I ada doktor laki-laki dengan laki-laki lah.
That's fine.
Then they can rama me as much as they want lah kan.
I guess it's like the mindset and coming, speaking of a conservative society, I think when you talk about HPV, they always associate, okay, HPV means you are having sexual contact. But people need to realize that it is common. People do it. You like it or not, they do it. But its prevention is better than cure. I mean, like if you don't want to get pregnant, you have to take precautions like wear a condom. You take your morning after pills and stuff like that. But if you want overall health, I think it's important that you get yourself regularly screened. And I don't think in Malaysia we do not have the facilities and accessibility to medical attentions because I think Malaysia is leading in the medical line where the services are actually provided and healthcare is much more accessible for everyone.
So I also think maybe, I'm not sure if you men know what a pap smear is.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you know what the pap smear is? Yeah.
Down there lah.
Yeah, okay, so down there. So maybe I can share a little bit as a medical doctor. There is an instrument,
Speculum.
it's called a speculum. Yeah, it's silver, hard and cold.
Yep.
It has to go into the vagina. It has to be it has to be opened up to a certain extent, and then there will be an instrument that will go in to actually scrape a small amount of tissue from the vagina area. So for me, you hear it and you're already scared.
How often you do that?
So actually, women have to be screened after the age of 30. But if you are sexually active, you should be screened even earlier. All right. But now there are so many good test kits available that will minimize all of this fear.
Or you can do on your own.
Correct. So that's going to be one part of our conversation. Yeah. So I think there's thinking about that barrier to go into the clinic, to think about going for a pap smear, to think about the access to which doctor is better for me, which doctor is gentler, am I going to get the right size of speculum, is it going to be painful, and you hear all these horror stories from your friends. I think that is one of the main reasons why females don't actually come forward. So they will only come forward for pap smears maybe after 35 or after 40 when they feel that they think they need it. But prior to that, I don't think that it is a common idea to go in for a pap smear or to go in for a check.
So the pap smear, what is it a test for cancer?
Yes.
No, it's not a test for cancer.
No, what is it?
It's a test for abnormalities, but not specifically. So actually,
Minta maaf lah, kita orang jantan tak tahu kan.
Actually, what we're trying to do, what a lot of medical or health implementers are trying to do all over the world is trying to just replace pap smears with HPV testing straight away. So you know immediately that it's HPV. There's no point to just see that it's an abnormal cell. Then you have to test again. Is it cancerous?
Which will take longer, right?
And furthermore, a pap smear can cost around $250 and above.
Yeah.
So for somebody who is in a low-income group, $250 is maybe their week's salary. Or maybe sometimes, they 2 weeks salary, they cannot even feed their kids. $250 is a big thing for them. So that's why we advocate screening, and there is the foundations in Malaysia that, and one of that is the Rose Foundation. So I want to pivot to the solutions because there is so much hope coming from the medical point of view and also from the people around us. So I think from the medical point of view, I think our Ministry of Health has done a fantastic program in 2010 where they started vaccination for teenage girls. And it ran for a few years, but it was halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But I think there is a larger role when it comes to people around us. So maybe Chef, you as a celebrity, as a father figure, and an employer, how do you think that you can support people with cancer?
Okay, being a cancer survivor, I think what I went through, my own experience lah. No matter how strong you are and all that, going through that, you want people to understand that, to understand and support you lah while going through that journey. Whether we are in a situation where we don't have enough financially lah enough, to get medication, and then there's always, people around that we hope, have a bit of kindness lah, compassion and empathy. These are very basic things lah, like all these people. So that's why I always sometimes, even through now, I even sometimes help some of my aunt to go through operation. I paid for the operation cost for 2 people with cancer. I did that because I wanted them to survive lah, for that kan. And so that's why I think, we all have means of helping each other lah. So I think kalau wife tu ada cancer, the husband also need to understand lah kan. Dalam keadaan isteri tu ada bukan saja cervical cancer lah, breast. Kadang-kadang kita dengar ada suami yang tinggalkan isteri, ada yang kena potong buah dada kemudian ceraikan isteri. And it's sad tau, that the wife go through like that kan, just because she already went through that, and the husband tak ada sifat kata simpati lah, and that's terrible. And then anak pun sometimes kadang-kadang tak kala ibu tu sakit, I think it's better for anak-anak also to be around them, to help ibu tu masak ke makan, to comfort her lah. Kadang-kadang do simple chores in the house so that the mother don't have to have something to worry on her head that she needs to find the money ke, nak cari ubat ke, atau anak-anak kadang-kadang also boleh, anak-anak yang dah bekerja tu boleh bantu ibu buat apa juga kan, untuk beli medication, to buy better quality food for example, and even to cook for them, to be near them lah, tak kira anak ke, ipar ke, menantu. So overall, I always tell people, have a bit this sifat kasih sayang, terima rasa. Kadang-kadang tak kena pada diri kita kan, tapi kena pada orang kita, so we must always try to show that. And don't wait until last minute dah mati esok barulah nak menangis ke nak tolong, and by the time it's too late. So that's why dalam keadaan situasi macam ni, I always believe kita kena always ada sikap simpati, kasih sayang, terima rasa, as much and being kind lah, and courteous. That's the factor number 1. Bila kita ada sifat-sifat tu, then orang tu dengan mudah cepat orang kata also sembuh baik. Because bila kita dalam keadaan mendapat sokongan, you get all this help from people, family, relative, kawan-kawan, friends, even just visit kan, to bring something, a soup, whatever, and it will make you feel better as well. So means you will go you go through your recovery faster rather than being alone, rather than being depressed. Duduk hospital, duit tak ada, pening kepala, risau anak-anak, siapa nak jaga makan. Kalau kita sakit, tak ada duit, tak ada nak makan, ni mungkin adik-beradik kita boleh bantu untuk jaga anak-anak kita. Ini boleh, I've seen people who does that in hospital. Ini bawa anak-anak dia untuk tengok mak, and actually sister dia yang jaga while dia dalam sakit. And so that's why in the end, the importance of family coming together, dalam keadaan ni sangat penting, and I feel that's the best way one can approach lah, because love is such a beautiful energy. When you can use love and kindness at the moment when people are sick and dying and whatever, going through all that challenges in life, it helps to cushion many things.
Yeah. So maybe Joshua, you can share from a younger generation point of view, how do you support women or younger women who are diagnosed with this big C, and how do you think men play a role in that generation?
I think coming from a household that has been brought up with a lot of love and thoughtfulness and caring, because I come from a very close-knit family. So my mom is a nurse, my sister is a nurse, my auntie is a nurse, and I have, like, my entire family are in the healthcare industry. And I think the awareness for me since young has been instilled really, really strong. And I've always seen women as not just somebody who creates life, but women are technically the pillar. They make a house a home. And I think men should have that empathy to be in a woman's shoe as well, because they not only take care of a family, they take care of every aspect. And I think that men should have that little bit of chivalry to actually be a little bit more concerned and give that mental support. Because I come from a household, again, I think this all starts from home. If you come from a household that has a lot of love to offer, I think you are able to also spread that. Yes, there are people who do not have that privilege as well, but I think at this point of time in 2025, we are exposed to so many, there's social media, there's information, we have chat GPT, we have AI, all these are available at your hands. And I think we should move. We should move and support each other. The most important thing that men should know is empathy. I think that's what most men lacked. Like they have sympathy, but being empathetic is completely different. Putting yourself in another person's shoe. It might not be the same, but it could reduce a little bit of the burden for the women. As a son, as a husband, as a sibling, as a boyfriend, and as a man who is in a women's life, I think they should support them.
Like for me, an example, like I'm caring for my sister with cancer, and the daughter also is having also tumor from the back, So occasionally, I would always check whether they have enough money. Not just my own sister suffering with breast cancer, her breast removed and spread to the bone, or this stage 3 then went to stage 3, So after my mother passed away, and then my ex-wife as well, then now it's for me to turn around to also care for my sister, because she is single mother. She's not working, so she has to depend money on the 3 children, which is not a lot, and so then I'm also chipping in as well to help. But then I understand she needs all this medical need, so therefore I'm always there for her. So every month my priority is make sure that she has enough medical financial support coming from me, and then at the same time to make sure that also household expenses, food all covered by me and all that. So that's very important for me. So that's why it's not. It's because I've always put family first, kan. Because at the end of the day, I want my family to be comfortable.
Foundation was built.
Teal Asia.
Teal Asia, was built for people who didn't have anyone. So maybe you can share a little bit about
Teal Asia is created as the first peer-to-peer support movement for survivors and patients of cervical cancer. So a lot of women don't know who to talk to. Like just for me, I mean, I didn't talk to anyone because I didn't know what do I tell you. So this provides a safe space for patients and survivors to share their experiences about their pain, their bodily changes. Like, okay, look, I'm going to be in hospital. What do I do with my children? I'm a single mom. Not everyone has mates. So I want to create that kind of support for those people who need the support, who don't have access to support. So that's why Teal Asia was born.
I think men should step in, because I'm a big believer in not feminism, but I'm a big believer in women empowerment. Sometimes women just need the support. Just hear them out. Men might not have all the solutions in the world, but we can be good listeners. Sometimes women just need to speak out to somebody, and I think men should step up. Instead of we are definitely from an Asian culture where when it comes to personal, private parts and stuff like that, men do not talk about it. Like, I wouldn't imagine my dad, like 20, 30 years back, going to the shop to buy a pad for my mom. But today he does that. So if we can move towards that, I think it will be a great exposure and awareness for men to support women as well. Because women shouldn't suffer alone. And sometimes men also shouldn't suffer alone. When we have each other to help and support each other, I think it will be great. And Teal Asia is amazing, and I think not just women, I think we should include men, and that's why we are all here to support.
That's right. That's fantastic. I just want to touch a little bit on screening. I think in 2023 KKM, the Ministry of Health guidelines recommended HPV-DNA testing to be a primary screening tool for cervical cancer because it has up to 92% sensitivity, which is higher than a pap smear.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, and it is specific to women from the age of 30 to the age of 65 years old. And I've heard from Prof. Wu herself, and she mentioned to me, at least in a woman's lifetime, they have to be screened twice. At least twice. So I think this being done at home is so easy and so convenient, and we have the access to all the KKM facilities to facilitate us if there is a positive test. I think that is a fantastic movement that Rose is currently advocating. Yeah, maybe you can share a little bit more about that.
Program Rose was started to actually create awareness as well as do an outreach program to get women, the underserved women, the women who are in remote areas, to bring them the self-screening swabs and get themselves tested. And so if they are positive, Rose will then recommend them for the right treatment protocols.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And Prof. Wu also shared with me that there are over 55 healthcare facilities in Malaysia just ready to accept these cervical cancer patients.
Yes.
So we are not alone. You know, we think that if we don't have insurance, we don't know where to go.
Yeah.
But I think as Chef shared in his journey, cancer is not cheap. The cancer diagnosis is not cheap. People who can't afford think that if they have cancer, they don't know where to go. So I think what the Rose Foundation and what Teal Asia is doing is a fantastic movement where they're reaching to communities to tell them that you have hope. We are here for you. Malaysians are here for Malaysians.
True.
So I think, thank you, Selina, for such a fantastic movement. So maybe I'll touch a little bit on the Teal Asia launch next month.
Oh yes,
Yeah?
yes.
So
We're launching in conjunction with the first World Cervical Cancer Elimination Day, November 17.
Right.
This is the first that globally everyone will celebrate, and I'm taking this opportunity to launch the movement during this week. There'll be a series of activities. One of them is beginning with the flag off of 2 cars sponsored by GWM Motors, where we will take the cars and create awareness and do screening on the spot. We are also going to, with the support of many lovely people in the GLCs, we're going to light up the city in the color teal, because teal is the color of solidarity for cervical cancer. So that's just one of the activities, and then we've got a lot of other activities, all to raise awareness and of course to drive donations towards Program Rose, because Teal Asia is not a foundation, we are not an NGO, we're a movement. So all I can do is let people know that Program Rose is doing this, and please donate to Program Rose so that they can treat and they can screen more women.
And they can reach more women, especially
Yes.
the women in the undeserving communities, people who will never go in for a pap smear.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that is fantastic.
Sure.
So, Chef, did you know that there's going to be Teal Thursday, Men Matter Too? Yeah. As a man, as a father, and a cancer advocate, what is the one thing that you want to share on this day that that they have planned for you?
I think there's 2 things lah. There's one thing is like get yourself regularly checked, medically, because prevention is always better than cure. Don't wait at the last minute. And I think if you do have cancer, like I always said, it's not at the end of the time of your life, because there are people who even at stage 4 can still survive. And these days with cancer medical medication, all that so advanced, there's so many even stage 4 people who actually went through great, so there's always hope lah. And then for people who are surrounded with people with cancer, they need to apply more, like I said just now, in terms of understanding, be able to also assist them in so many ways lah, whichever way yang kita nak bantu kan, kindness and all that, and be the support lah for them, like I've done with my own mother kan, spending so much money also towards the end of her life, and then of course my my current sisters, and then me going through all that. So just be there for them lah, itu je.
That's fantastic. And Joshua, following that, what does active allyship look like in your generation? I think you've mentioned multiple times that empathy for the people around you, for your mother, for your sister, for your co-worker who is a female who has this C diagnosis, and they feel that they have nowhere to go. With this movement that's going on, how do you feel that you can share this information with them, and do you think that you'll be able to give that information out as well?
I come from a very interestingly speaking, my background is psychology. So I think that has given me a lot of understanding of human beings and accepting for who they are. Sometimes not everybody is able to speak about things, and I am all out to be present to speak about issues that are affecting our generation. Especially a lot of I'm from a millennial generation. So from a millennial generation, we still have that taboo, you know, and not as much as Gen Z. Gen Z, they are very open about their feelings and stuff. But the millennials, we still have a little bit of held back because we are right at the spot where we are traditional, at the same time we are modern. So I think talking about it and speaking more about it and advocating it on social media is what my plus point is. And I am more than happy to be a part of Teal Asia, especially because
You know what? When I was sharing a lot of my cancer experience, I have a lot of people who actually suddenly wake up like, oh my God, I have this symptom. I'm going to go my checkup. Oh, my husband is already experiencing exactly what you're going through. This. And suddenly the what you call oncologist unit is flooded by many of all these people who actually didn't realize they have lump here, they have lump there, and completely ingat bengok lah, ingat that, and taruh, and then found out it's already stage 3 or stage 2, whatever. So they're getting themselves cured, and going through all that. So then I get feedback from people. Thank you, Chef Wan, because I think you're sharing, your cancer so openly about it and what you go through, and then so it makes us realize to understand that what you go through, and for us also to support our sibling, our wife or husband or family and all that to go through that, and there are cancer patients who said, now I'm learning how to suck the straw better. Then I never thought about putting 6 cups of bubur together and then taking them every half an hour to make sure that I have enough nutrient in my body for my body to fight back,
So they say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right. So I think this has been such a fruitful conversation, such an open and heartfelt conversation amongst these powerful people. And I also want to thank Chef for loaning us this beautiful home for us to shoot. Joshua for his presence here, and Miss Selina for dropping by. And I also want to mention that all 3 of them are actually my ambassadors at Neu Clinic. I am an aesthetic doctor, but still a medical doctor, and I find this conversation so important, even though it's not part and parcel of what I do on a daily basis. But I'm still a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a friend to so many female friends who don't know about this program that is readily available in Malaysia.
Yeah, I hope whatever we share today, it, becomes extra benefit lah for a lot of people yang kurang knowledge and all that. That's why we host this podcast lah kan.
So thank you everyone for listening. Please visit tealasia.org to listen, to get involved, and to be part of the movement.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can follow us at newclinic.my for the full interview.
Bye guys.